I know it's just one win, but to a lot of the folks sitting out here in our live studio audience at the Claim Jumper, that was kind of a big win, wasn't it, everybody? A lot of people wearing red and black been waiting for a win like that for quite a while, Coach, so congratulations.
Well, our kids really did a great job, and the staff, Al and Rocky and the guys on offense, guys on defense, really had a great plan, and the seniors, I can't tell you how much influence they've had on this football team, and that's the neat part about it. And we like to make them interesting, and so but it was a great win. It's a league win, and that's what it's all about.
All right, we're with the coach for the next hour. We will take questions from you folks that are here with us at the Claim Jumper. Also, you can join the program by phone. Call in toll-free number, actually, whenever you might be listening to the show or watching on the Internet. GoAztecs.com. You may call the program if you have a question for the coach, 1-800-600-KOGO. That's 800-600-5646. Of course, locally here, anywhere in San Diego County, 858-569-8255. We, of course, are at Claim Jumper in La Mesa, and it's where we are every Wednesday night, enjoying the happy hour specials, including the mini tri-tip dips, the fish tacos, sliders, wings, Parmesan, zucchini spears. It's all here, and we're here with all you folks on Wednesday night throughout the college football season. Coach, all right, so let's go back to the Air Force game a little bit here before we open it up and get some questions. And just talk a little bit about what you guys said to you coaches said to your guys going into this game in terms of things you were focusing on, things you needed to do in order to win that game, and then how well your guys did, carrying out what you needed.
Right. Well, first of all, I think offensively and defensively, and in the kicking game, we really complemented each other well, and that's what it has to be when you win or when you want to win championships. You have to complement each other. And early in the football game, I thought our defense really did a terrific job and kept us close. They did a good job of defending the offense, the option and all that, and I think it starts from a defensive perspective. We really wanted to take the fullback out of the football game, and I thought the guys up front and the linebackers and their assignment football did a really good job. I thought the guys on the back end, we bended a little bit at times, but I thought we responded well and forced some punts in there and some bad field position. And offensively, we wanted to run the football, obviously, and I think everybody knows that's where we want to start with our team. And we struggled a little bit early, but I thought as the game wore on, the guys up front did a tremendous job. Ronnie, is got some talent to him and can do some things, and did a nice job of having some patience with some runs and finding the right seam. So I think all in all, Chris, the things that we wanted to establish and run the football, taking the fullback out of their offense, were the two keys to winning the football game.
Well, of course, Rocky Long, who's been coaching the defense in this conference against the Air Force attack for so many years, and you guys did a pretty good job against them last year in Colorado Springs, kept them out of the end zone. Did he make some tweaks, though, from last year's games to this year's game? Because I figure, even though you guys had success, against Air Force last year defensively, you show up with the exact same game plan this year, it may not have that same kind of success.
Well, there's no doubt. The one thing about playing the service academies and playing that style of football, they all have about a 7-inch binder of different ways to attack different things that they see. And we had a good plan last year, as you said, and I thought we played very well defensively up there. We changed it this year and did some things different. Some of that is based on what they do. Some of it is based on our personnel and how we wanted to utilize our personnel. And some of it was to give problems. Rocky was a wishbone quarterback at New Mexico, and he really understands the offense, the three different reads, the load, the arc blocks, all the different things you can do. So, in the numbers, because everything's based off of numbers. And one of the things, besides taking the fullback out, is we wanted to force them to run the ball into the boundary. And, you've got 17 yards to work within the boundary, and you got a whole lot of field if you let them get out to the field. So I thought it was a great plan, and the kids executed, and that's where it really, at the end of the day, the execution is what counts.
Now, that one of the things we talked about last week after the BYU loss, I had talked about, the tackling and where you guys missed some tackles against BYU, and you said, that was part of it, but you said one of the things we did not do well against BYU was get off blocks. We got to do a better job of that. And when I watch Air Force play, I'm just so impressed watching them play because they're going to block you. They're pretty rare that Air Force just misses a block or doesn't have the assignment. Their discipline is such, they're going to put a helmet on you. I thought, looking at the game and the defense, you guys, for the most part, got yourselves off of blocks. Ernie Lawson must have, thrown the center or left guard aside 5 or 6 times in that game and made plays for you at the line of scrimmage. But you guys had to work hard to get off blocks so you could make your plays.
Well, there's no doubt. And I thought Ernie really played a good football game. He was very active. He played with a demeanor and a mentality of toughness that we want to portray at all times. But I think it was his best football game. I thought Jake Talanua came in and started the football game and did a nice job. And the guy who's kind of done a really good job is Neil Spencer inside. I think him and Jerome, but Neil's the starter right now, and he really has done a good job of really manning, the 2A gaps and being disruptive.
I thought when we looked back at that game at the end after it was over, one of the things a lot of people probably didn't remember was the two, I think it was 23-yard field goal, 24-yard field goal that Air Force kicked in the first half, because those were long drives, and when your defense is out on the field for a while and they start getting, now they get the ball inside the 10, can you bow up at that point and keep them out of the end zone? You guys did that twice in the first half. That may have ultimately been the difference in the football game, that they got 6 points instead of maybe 14. So.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt in the red zone I thought our guys defended it well. And, you kind of had an idea because of what they like to do. They were going to pound the fullback. And if they were going to run any kind of option, it was going to be a double option where the quarterback was going to keep the football. There wasn't a whole lot of pitching it down there because of the style of play that they have and what their beliefs in, and they've been successful with it.
All right, well, the number was Air Force rushed for 312 yards, but the one number that wasn't brought up enough, I don't think, after that game was it took them 62 carries to get that.
Right.
So you guys did a nice job of containing that run game, and that is not easy to do, and that is a good Air Force football team. I came away very impressed, even more impressed than I thought I would be, with how well they played, how well they executed, and just how hard you guys had to work in order to keep them contained. All right, let's look at your offense real quick. Ryan Lindley, I believe, had 2 completed passes through the first, I'm going to say 29 minutes of the football game. Then he hit a couple there right at the end of the first half, got you down there for a field goal. Then you look up at the end of the game, boy, Ryan Lindley had 247 yards passing.
Right.
You guys made some adjustments, finally got some guys free down the field, because that is a good secondary that Air Force has. Man, that Rembert and Wright, those 2 guys are tough.
Oh, they're very good players, and we knew that would be a battle on the perimeter, and they do enough to keep you off balance on defense because, in the old days, 4 or 5 years ago, they may not be able to play man coverage out there on the corners, but Troy's done a really good job in his recruiting, and they're a talented football team. And then Ryan, I thought, we were out of sync a little bit offense. We weren't having the success that we'd like, but the things that Ryan really brought to the table started to show a little more in the second half. He was patient with the football. He did an outstanding job of running with the football when things opened up for him, or he felt a little pressure, or there was just a lot of green grass, and that's something that he hasn't done a lot of, but it adds another dimension to your offense and something else for people to defend.
At 27 yards rushing for Ryan Lindley. Props to the big fella for getting outside the pocket and picking up some yardage. Coach, this is something I know, want to put to bed. Everybody wants to put it to bed, man. BYU won the game, boom. But it was a little ironic that one of the key moments in this game on Saturday night against Air Force came down to a replay review. And I thought it was curious. A lot of people said, or wrote, well, the Aztecs got the call this time. To me, that's not what replay is all about.
Right,
I mean, you didn't get the call.
It was the right call.
That was the proper call.
Right.
I mean, and Andrew Preston, it may be an unsung play because it was kind of a desperation tackle. And I think even Andrew said after the game he didn't think he had kept Clark from getting into the end zone to tie the game. But the fact is he still never gave up on the play, and It turned out he got his knee down. So
well, and in games like this, and really every game that we're going to play from here on out, there's going to be 6 or 7 plays in that football game, and whoever execute is going to be the team that's going to win the football game. So, that was one of those plays. I think the 4th and 1 that they tried
in the first half.
Yeah, I thought that was a huge play in the game when you look at momentum and the field position that we got out of it. So you can go through that game and kind of look at certain things that happened, and when you execute, and we didn't execute, and the thing that I think bothers all of us a little bit was the drive that they had to put the ball in the end zone, and at the end of the game, we didn't cover well enough. We had to transition back into our base defense because we ran a little different scheme against them for the option. But that part of it is something that we can't let a team go down the field like that.
Well, they did go down the field, and they made it 27-25, and they had another onside kick, but. Look, those were good onside kicks, by the way. I mean, give Soderberg, their kicker, credit, man, for popping those balls up there. But DJ Shields, those are 2 hella good plays to recover both of those onside kicks. And I think a lot of people just kind of gloss over that. But when you talk about special teams, it's kickoffs and returns and field goals and punts. And then every now and again, it's a guy making a play right there, and DJ Shields made 2 of them for you.
Well, and that's part of that's one of those plays in a game that you have to execute. And Dan Ferrigno, our special teams coach, on Thursday, we worked the heck out of that, and I can tell you, it's something that when we work it, that's the kind of play that's going to win you a championship, because if you recover it and you're able to run the ball or take the time off the clock or whatever it is, that play singly, and I thought DJ on both occasions, the first one there was a whole lot of traffic around, and he did a great job of getting it up high at its highest point like you coach, and did a great job of extending himself and having strong hands and getting on the ground. And on the second one, the 2 guys who really kept him a little more clear was Vince Brown and Escobar were both on the front line, and they both blocked the guy instead of trying to make a play on the ball, which was a smart thing to do, let it go to the second level. And it was really a little bit him and Andrew, I think it was Marcus Andrews, were both on the ball, and it was a great play.
One other great play in that game was the catch that Escobar made on the touchdown. That was interesting. I don't know if I don't like to share too much, but when that play lined up, it was 3rd and goal from about the 7-8 yard line. And Al Borges, the offensive coaches, they happened to sit in the booth next to us. So it was interesting, and I think it was Brandon was your blocking back, and he lined up, I think, to the right of Ryan, and then he switched over to the left. And the second he did that, Al Borges jumped up in the booth and, was like, no, what are you doing?
Right.
And I just kind of caught that out of the corner of my eye. So I don't know. Did it wind up being the play that you wanted it to be? Because if it did or didn't, what a catch Escobar made. I mean, a one-handed snag. We've seen a lot of good tight end catches in that stadium over the years. We got some pretty good ones that played from the Chargers. There wasn't a whole lot of tight end catches I've seen better than that.
Well, when Brandon moved, we were changing the protection and probably didn't need to. And when that happened, I think Al obviously was a little nervous about what would happen with the protection part of it, but that held up fine. The guys up front did a good job. Gavin ran a very good route, and Ryan, he had a little bit of pressure, one guy in the inside, and I think that's why the ball sailed a little bit on him because he couldn't step through it. But he put it where he had to put it, and Gavin, obviously did the rest.